And we are live from the Brojo to Jay of Thrones. Woo! I can't sing anymore. We'll get sued for copyright. How's it going, man?
It's pretty good, man.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
So this is Jay of Thrones. It's a great pun on. I kind of wish Jay's name was James, because then it would be even better. So what we decided to do is Jay has never really watched Game of Thrones, and so I mean we have HBO. We have this. I don't know if you've heard of it. We have this thing called the Rochambeau's Network. It's nothing.
It's a little,
It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing. I'm not saying we started the podcast renaissance in our small town, but I'm just saying
it's becoming something.
Not only is Jay part of the Rochambeau's, but Jay's famous around here.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He's our world famous sushi chef in a small town. Just remember this. This is how upbeat and hipster our town is. We hate colored people, but we have sushi.
Oh, yes, very much
so. So let's just go into episode 1, and like I said, this is an episode recap of all episodes from season 1 through 7. If we get to episode, we're obviously not going to get to season 7 like right now, but every week we're just going to review. Well, Jay's going to review an episode and how he felt about it, and we're going to talk about it. And things that he hopes to be coming if he hasn't been spoiled by it yet or not, and all of that. So Jay, can you tell us the plot of episode 1?
Episode 1, well, the king's hand dies, so the king is coming down to Winterfell to recruit Ned Stark, one of his longest friends, to become the next king's hand. And let's see what else happens. There's the dire wolves. They found the corpse of a dire wolf, and she had 5 pups. Or is it 6 pups?
5 because they represent 5 children.
Yep, 5 pups each for the children of the Stark family, including the bastard Jon Snow, and those proved to be important later in the series that I know. And anyway, I think one of the major points in that TV show, in that episode, is at the very end, I know, is where Bran Stark, he likes to climb. You see him climbing earlier in the beginning of the episode. He's climbing all over. He likes to climb. He's climbing the old tower. He happens to discover Jaime and Cersei Lannister doing the nasty, and they see him oh no, what do we do? And then Jaime's things I do for love, and shoves Bran out the window, and Bran falls to his quote-unquote death, which I've read the book, so it didn't really spoil that for me, but I knew he was gonna die. He wasn't I knew he was gonna die from that fall, so for me, that wasn't a big, huge shocker, but Kien was telling me how him and his dad watched it, and it just, and it was what the fuck, because that's they just killed a child,
right?
quote unquote killed. Since
also, okay, so with that in mind, is it season 2? Not season. Is it episode 2 where the Hound disposes of a child who attacked Joffrey? Or is that season? That's episode 1.
That's episode 2, I thought.
I thought that. Okay.
Well, episode, yeah.
Well, we also forgot that the first scene introduces what people believe to be magic.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
The White Walkers. You're totally fine.
Yeah.
So,
but that was interesting because I don't think it mentions the White Walker in the book. I don't think it says it's White Walkers at all.
No, they just give a description. So it's very ambiguous. What we could be seeing is the eyes of this person who's been out over the wall for so long, and he's just hungry, starvation. Maybe he's seeing something. Maybe this is just a wildling that's up and about. So you just never know. Also, with this episode, you really get a lot of the main characters.
You do.
You're introduced to all of the Lannisters.
Yes.
Cersei, Jaime, Tyrion. You're introduced to
What's Keen's name again?
Robb.
Robb. Here we go. Robb.
I think.
Baratheon or
No,
No.
Baratheon.
Baratheon? There we go. Baratheon.
And then you're introduced to their shitty son Joffrey.
Oh, the bitch
Yep,
king.
Robert Baratheon. You're also introduced to the Stark children.
Mhm.
Robb Stark, who's the oldest.
Wow.
Sansa, Arya, Bronn, and their youngest son Rickon, who he's there.
He's kind of he doesn't
He's
really-
not. And Ned's illegitimate son Jon
Jon
Snow,
Snow.
as he would say. Plus their hostage / ward Theon Greyjoy.
Mhm.
And so in the first part of it you see this family building, like you're like, I really like this family.
Yeah.
They seem really great. And you look at Sean Bean and you're like, I love Sean Bean. He's a great character. Hope he does well in this show.
Like, I know full on well that he dies. Again, I read the book,
Mhm.
and when I read the book, I was like, holy shit, they just killed Ned Stark.
The ever episode, I'm just gonna try to get to it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Sorry,
Like,
no,
if you-
you're fine.
Just spoiler.
You're fine.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
spoilers.
I don't know.
If you're watching this and you see
you
Game of
haven't had
Thrones,
it been
yeah,
spoiled. Like, I had that spoiled
right.
for me.
So, but like,
kind of,
a lot of this is actually based in the North.
Mhm.
Obviously, the only part of King's Landing that you see is Jaime and Cersei watching the dead body of Jon Arryn.
Mhm.
But the North is really prominent here because you meet Tyrion. He wants to go visit the Wall, and you find out that Jon Snow really isn't really liked by his
His adoptive
mother.
you could say. Well, I don't blame her because, like, oh yeah, her husband went and fucked this other chick and brought back an illegitimate son.
Right? No.
Which just completely makes sense.
No, I totally understand. I understand it. Like, I don't know. But you really get the mirrorization of these direwolves that they get, because the Stark family's house crest is the direwolf, and so no one's seen a direwolf in years. So this is the start of the whole like magic is coming back. You get this, you get a little bit of feel of the White Walkers are here, and the direwolves are here. But then if you look very closely, the wolf is killed by a stag.
Oh yeah, you're right. Which is the house of
The House of Baratheons.
Baratheon, I got it.
The Lannisters is lying. But with that in mind, you like as you watch it. When I watched it now, back then I didn't think about it. But then if you look at it, like if you look at the creative dissonance in it, it does show like something is going to happen between the Baratheons
symbolic
and the Starks.
there.
I mean, like Cersei is still considered a Lannister, but she is married to Robert Baratheon. So there is something that's going to happen with these two houses. Then you meet in this episode. You also meet Benjen Stark.
Oh yes,
who is
the brother,
the eldest brother of Ned Stark, who Jon Snow really idolizes, and he wants to become a person of the Wall.
One of the Rangers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And through this time, Benjen is like, yo, dude, you don't have to do this.
You
like,
can experience life for a bit.
You're living life as a Stark, dude. You're like, there's a whorehouse like three nils away. Come on. He's like, nah, I want to be with you, Uncle Benjen. He's like, shit, okay, if you want to hang out with a bunch of dudes, I ain't gonna stop you. But he's very,
Like, also, side note, you get from the picture that Jon Snow cares about. Was that in the second episode?
In general, you get the picture that Jon Snow cares
about
for his family.
Yeah.
He's trying to teach Bran how to shoot a fucking bow, and he has playful banter with his other siblings. I mean, even Theon at this time feels like he's like one of the kids. He's like, hey, mom and dad that I was forcefully taken from, but whatever.
Yeah.
And you get to meet you get the mirrorization though, that Arya is going to play a prominent role.
I didn't get that. Like,
I
really
did.
too
I
much.
believed.
Like,
I believed in. I always kind of thought it. When I look back at it, I mean, she was that typical like, girls can play with swords
like,
too,
I know,
dude.
Like, spoiler, like in the book, like she runs off eventually,
Right.
and like she's on her own.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
No, and like,
yeah.
I mean, I hate Sansa still.
Yeah, Sansa's...
I mean, I've always hated Sansa. I think she's kind of a douche, but and you meet the other. I mean, the other two, Baratheon children / Lannister children aren't very
Who are they?
prominent. Maskela and Prince Tommen.
Yeah, I totally.
There's so Robert pays respects to Ned's sister, Lyanna Stark, his late fiance, and suggests that Ned should let Sansa marry
in
his
order
son,
to
Joffrey.
to have the blood,
Yes.
maybe their family's blood connected, so it'll be more accepted that Ned becomes the King's Hand, if I remember right. And I've totally forgot the Dothraki were.
Right.
Yeah.
Before we're
Yeah.
just gonna finish up what
Yeah.
happened in the north, and during that night, Catelyn Stark receives a troublesome message from her sister, Lord Arryn's widow, and that she suspects it was murder that killed Jon Arryn, that it was the Lannisters.
But they think that she's also crazy too. If I remember
Yes.
right. So
Ned is reluctant to take the position of the hand that Robert gave him, and does so in order to protect his old friend.
Yeah.
Bran, like you said, Bran is climbing up the wall.
Yeah.
And you find them doing the incest is best
Yeah.
thing, I guess,
Yeah,
and
it
Jaime
has to.
pushes up. See, I mean, that's the thing about the episodes. There's so many highs. There had to be a drop in low.
God damn it.
Oh, yeah.
That's
That, yeah. Oh, yeah. I went there. You're welcome. You're welcome, Internet. I have had some bad jokes all week.
Last podcast of wrestling, which you'll find in the link below.
Yes. And then it goes into, as Jay was talking about, Pentos and the Dothrakis.
Yeah.
Viserys Targaryen plots to overthrow Robert.
Which makes total sense.
He's a dick, though.
Yeah, but I do not like his
He's
character.
a super spoiled child.
When I read the book, I did not like his character, and he got adjusted there, which we'll
Yeah.
find out later. But like,
Yeah, he forces his sister Daenerys
yeah,
to get married to Khal Drogo, leader of the nomadic horde of Dothraki.
the Dothraki.
Yeah, Daenerys is obviously scared to marry him, and she is given 2 wedding gifts, though. The first, a collection of books from the Seven Kingdoms by her bodyguard, Sir Jorah Mormont, an exiled knight of the loyal to the Targaryens. And the second gift is a chest containing petrified dragon eggs, given by the Magister who's been watching over them, and the man who helped arrange the marriage. Those are prominent as well.
Oh, yeah, very much prominent.
But this is you get the sense, though, when you start seeing Dany in the first beginning of the series, is that she's still young and she obviously is scared, and I mean, she progresses.
Yeah, she does.
But you just see that how at this time she's being so manipulated by her brother. I mean, her brother has intentions.
He wants to become the next
king. I mean, his intentions are very very understandable after being exiled from his homeland.
Sure.
That he's like, I'm gonna fuck shit up and I want that back. But at the same time, when you look at it, you're just kind of like, he's a dick.
Yep.
I don't much like him.
Very much so.
So Jay, if you could do some critical analysis, what did you think about this first episode of Game of Thrones?
It very well introduces the main characters, most of them at least, in the central episode. And it's starting with a slight plot, Ned's on his way to become the King's Hand, the cliffhanger of, oh no, what happened to Bran Stark? And then there's also the other central plot with Daenerys and Targaryens, with Daenerys Targaryen with the Dothraki. So,
what do you think about the cinematography on this and the?
I think it was decently done. It wasn't like it didn't seem too over the top to me. It seemed very decent. It was gritty. I like that. It wasn't like high fantasy where it's everything's all nice and blah blah blah. It seems like more ground to earth. If this was like a real life thing, I could see this happening, but later there's the magic. But like, it seems very realistic to me of the times of like the Middle Ages, which I really enjoy that.
Is there any standout actors or performances you can
not really
give a shout out to?
I don't really have anything much for standout performances or whatnot. Like Sean Bean's in there, that's cool, but like I don't know. Like as these first episode, like nothing's really stands out. Like, bam, that's awesome. It's like
No,
I just think it was decently done. I thought, as if I was like if I was the audio episode I was gonna watch like for a whole entire week, like how it normally is. Excuse me. That would have probably got me hooked.
alrighty. So what do you rate episode 1?
Probably like a 8. Like not too much action. It's a lot of just build up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I understand. It's like again, I'm gonna preface. I read the book and like the first book just a bunch of build up to like what happens in the second book. Well, towards the end of the first book, and then what happens in the second book with this huge, utter conflict. But it was good. It was done. It essentially it introduces like the characters, the main characters, the central plots that are going to happen, and it was entertaining. So
That's good to hear.
yeah.
Well, that's been Jay of Thrones. We'll be back next week. Episodes will be recorded Tuesdays and then posted on Wednesdays per user schedule, so we don't have oversaturation and we can do it throughout the week.
Yep.
I'm Kien Ibanez,
Jay and Kien.
and in the words of Dothraki, I don't speak Dothraki, so later, guys.
Yep.